Hi, I'm Josh Hockman, Park Industries Customer Service Department. On this video, we are going to show you how to take off and rebuild a 3/8 high pressure swivel union. I like to start by just removing my small screws here for our bracket. You will be using for this 9/32 Allen wrench. I'm just going to take that bracket off and set that to the side. So I'm going to start at my top here. Hold the top of my swivel union and loosen my high pressure line. And then I'm going to go loosen my bottom one. So I'm going to hold on to my coupler, my high pressure coupler, and loosen this nut here. I'll just thread that out. Now I'll be able to lift my high pressure line up, and my swivel union with the gland and collar come off with it. A whole swivel union has not the gland and collar on, just the stem sticking out. But now we'll bring this to a workbench and we will dismantle it and put a major rebuild kit in it. First thing we're gonna do, we'll pop off this rubber ring. So if you guys had water leaking from that, it's this weep hole right in there that's actually leaking, and that's causing the seals leaking inside are causing it to leak. So we're just gonna start by taking off our gland and collar. Now this is an anti-vibration one, so you can tell because it is the black color, so it does have the extra piece in there, that collar there. So make sure you don't lose that. We'll set that to the side for right now. We'll take the swivel apart here then. Thread that apart. I'm just going to use the palm of my hand, push to keep pressure on that high pressure line. And we're just going to push the bottom of the swivel union off. Now just watch real careful. Right here, this thrust washer likes to stick on into the cap. You are just getting rid of the parts, but just keep track of them so when you're replacing them, you don't double up. If it looks like that, where you can see the bearings, your washer's stuck in there. So we'll start with the bottom end here. We're going to just wipe off some of that grease and the outside and just clean this up quick. Now we're gonna take out this bottom seal. So I'm just gonna go around here and start prying. So we are using the major rebuild kit on this. So this does come with the bottom seal. The major and minor rebuild kit have the bottom seal. The only difference between the two is the major comes with the high pressure line here in the kit, and the minor rebuild kit does not. So we'll take our seal out, set that to the side. I'm also gonna clean up inside there. So now that looks good. And you can see there is a brass bushing on the outside there. The kit does not come with the brass bushing, but usually you don't have an issue with that. If yours looks real bad where it's wobbled out, then you would have to replace the whole swivel union. We'll just take our seal. I'm just going to lube this up with a little bit of the high pressure grease here. The high pressure grease does come in the kit also. We'll set our seal right on there. And then what I'm going to do is take the puck from my intensifier rebuild toolkit, and I'm using this because I know it has a nice flat surface. I'm just going to push down on that, and I can see that it's nice and level right now. So then I'm just going to use a rubber mallet. And tap this in. Until that seal is nice and flush. So now I can see my seal is nice and flush with the outside here. Clean up the excess high pressure grease. And my inside is nice and clean. So I'm just going to take my O-ring now right away so I can finish up the bottom part here and wrap my O-ring back around that comes in the kit. So now this bottom part is all done. We'll set this to the side and move to our top. So we'll start with the high pressure line. So you can see there is a thrust washer, a needle bearing here, thrust washer, needle bearing, another thrust washer, and then the O-ring. So in this video, we are replacing with the full rebuild kit. So we're going to be replacing this whole high pressure line. So all of this can go because it comes in the kit. If you only got the minor kit, you will have to put your parts onto the old high pressure line. We'll open up some packages here. So the bearing is packed with grease, so I'm just going to leave that in the bag until I'm ready to slide that right on. Got our thrust washers. So simply just start with your thrust washer, slide that on, needle bearing, another thrust washer. I am gonna just put a little bit of high pressure grease between each of the parts also. Okay, lube that all up. We're just gonna we'll put our O-ring on here. So it'll be the smallest O-ring. And we will put a little bit of high pressure grease on that also. I'm also gonna spread some high pressure grease on the top side here. Okay, we're going to set that to the side real quick, and we'll start with our top section here. So here's the brass piece in here. That can stick real good. So what I'm going to do here to remove it is just hold it with the wrench, and I'm gonna clamp a locking pliers on there and just start spinning it until it starts spinning free and until I can work that up. Here you can see what that looks like. It does have a little stem that slides into there. Discard that. We'll be replacing that. And now I'm going to just take my last O-ring off. Discard that. Start by cleaning up my blue goop and the top here. Just wipe that free. If you need, you can use a Scotch-Brite pad just to clean that up a little better. We're gonna use our wooden dowel, and I'm gonna put it right where that high pressure line seats in there. And I'm just gonna use my hands and push out this plastic seat. You can see we do have some wear on that plastic seat here. Take note that there's a little O-ring on the plastic seat. The O-ring will go in the down position as my top is sitting right now. So we'll remove the wooden dowel. Make sure everything is nice and clean. Take out our seat. So you can really tell the difference between them. That this one was wore down. I'm just going to take some high pressure grease again. And lube that up. Now remember, O-ring down. Making sure it's going in straight. I'm just going to push that in by hand as far as I can. Spread a little bit of the high pressure grease again around the top. Now we'll open up our brass piece. So that's what the new brass piece looks like here. And we will just push that down until that seat's tight. And we have our last O-ring. And we'll slide that on. Take our high pressure, our new high pressure line. Slide that down on there. And our bottom half of our inline swivel. We'll thread this tight. And don't have to get too aggressive with it here. Just snug that up. Back up a little bit. Making sure we're not going too tight. Just tighten them up. You don't have to compress too much here. Just get them snug. And now we'll put our anti-vibration collar on again. We'll thread the some blue goop around there and thread this stuff back on here, and then we'll be able to go to our machine and put it back on. Okay, now that we're back up by our machine, we're gonna insert our swivel. We make sure you do check your collar here, that you can see the 3 threads exposed between the taper and the collar itself. Just rotate that so it drops in. I'm just gonna start everything here. And make sure before you put this high pressure line on the top here, get your bracket in and at least have that just sitting down there. I'm also gonna just start my small screws, make sure if I have to turn anything that everything's all in place, and all I have to do is tighten my high pressure lines on it. I'll start my top. Also double checking that the 3 threads were exposed between the collar and the taper on the high pressure line. Okay, they're just barely snug now. I'm just gonna give them a little bit of tighten up, but then I'm gonna come back and torque my high pressure line. Just barely snug them up, and then I will torque that to the proper spec there. Then we'll just finish up by tightening up these Allen heads. But as always, if you have any questions, let our customer service department know, and we'd be glad to help. And that's how you rebuild a 3/8 inline swivel.